Hello and welcome again to another episode of this assembly with your servant of Yahuwah Soya. And let us get right back into this presentation of Circle of Death. Now, we last left off in Bere'Shiyth chapter 19 with verse 5. Today we're going to pick it up, verse 6. And before then, I'd like to thank the Father for giving us these words, these opportunities to get to learn things that happen in His story. And hopefully we will make some kind of course correction now so we don't end up in any type of situation similar to this. In the name of His Son, Yahushua, let us get started. Again, we're in chapter 19 of Bere'Shiyth, verse 6. And Lot went out at the door unto them and shut the door after him. It was seen that Lot had already established a relationship with these men. How did he do it? Was he raped when they arrived and is now part of the people by this sort of hazing or jumping in by rape ritual? You know, that's pretty messed up. But you know, when you think about it, Lot was, you know, he seemed like he was part of the people now. You know, he had been there for some time, and it seemed like he established some kind of rapport. He got to know these people, and he's considering them his brethren. All right, verse 7 and 8. Verses 7 and 8. And said, I pray you, brethren, do not so wickedly. Behold now, I have 2 daughters which have not known men. Let me, I pray you, bring them out unto you, and do ye to them as is good in your eyes. Only unto these men do nothing, for therefore came they under the shadow of my roof. You know, that's a pretty messed up statement, but you know, let's read this explanation I have here. Lot is referring to these men as brothers, these rapers of men. He is referred to as brothers. Brothers in what way? Who do you affiliate your kinship with, and based upon what? If one is behaving in a manner not indicative of Yahuwah, and with no regard for Yahuwah, is he Yahuwah's son? Is he therefore your brother? In a most insane gesture, Lot offered these rapers of men, his 2 virgin daughters, to rape. Lot offered these deranged, whatever kind of negative word you could think of, these men, his 2 daughters, his virgin daughters. You know, we don't even know how old they are. They could be, you know, 10 years old, 8 years old. We don't know. He's offering these men, this whole city of, you know, men of ranges from, you know, what, you know, 21 to 50, who knows? These men, whether they be big muscular men, tall men, 8 feet tall, you know, all these men, he's offering them his 2 daughters, his only family, his only daughters. He's offering to them. All right. That's a little bit, it's kind of crazy to me, but, you know, I don't know, maybe that was a custom back then. It's crazy. That is worse than being pimped out. How does a father offer his children to such anything? A sacrifice. He just decided that they have no value to him. Angels or not, these 2 men have more value to him than his own seed. Then he adds that they can do what is good in their sights. Wow. These men were there to rape 2 men unknown to them and new to this city. The entire city of men were there to rape 2 men. And he says they may do what is good in their sight to his virgin daughters. There were no good intentions in the eyes of these men. Not at that time. Lot's sole focus as a good father in this moment was to protect these 2 angels who really needed no protection that he could offer. In fact, he says that his protection was the reason that they had come to be with him. Not. They had come to investigate the city. They was going to stay in the city while these men were coming for them. That's how much they wanted and or needed his protection. And they said, stand back. And they said again, this one fellow came in to sojourn, and he will need to be a judge. Now will we deal worse with you than with them? And they pressed so upon the man, even Lot, and came near to break the door. This was a strange conversation. It seems as though some parts were left out, parts that would make this conversation understandable. Who were they speaking of that came to stay there? Why would he need to be a judge? These remarks made no sense based on the previous parts of the conversation we are privy to. It underscores the fact that there are instances in Scripture where we are only given certain parts of a conversation and not others, particularly the parts that lead up to where we are reading. So, what man were they pushing up on? The angel, or was there another man there that went unspecified and unnamed? Whoever he was, they pushed up on him hard, and Lot. Or was the man Lot? Some of them even pushed past them and made it to the door, or at least close to the door, as Lot and the man attempted to hold them back, to hold back every man of the city with bad intentions in their eyes. All right, verses 10 and 11. But the men put forth their hand, and pulled Lot into the house to them, and shut to the door. And they smote the men that were at the door of the house with blindness, both small and great, so that they wearied themselves to find the door. The angels essentially saved Lot from a horrific fate. He was truly loving them by his intervention. He was giving his life for theirs, his friends. Now, strangely, after they closed the door, they caused blindness upon the men who were close to the door. How did they do that except by grace and power? The status of the man made no difference, yet they still tried to get to the door to get at the men and Lot. So, what misadventure has Yahuwah caused you to be unable to clearly see, yet you persist at it blindly? There are many causes today that people try to accomplish even though they cannot see their objective, have no clear path to a resolution, but they persist. Verses 12 and 13. I'm getting better at, saying verses instead of verse. And the man said unto Lot, have you here any besides son-in-law and your sons and your daughters and whatsoever you have in the city? Bring them out of this place. For we will destroy this place, because the cry of them is waxing great before the face of Yahuwah, and Yahuwah has sent us to destroy it. The angels already seem to know who is there with Lot, and now they are telling him, warning him to gather them and get out of town with them. Their reason for this is a little interesting. In the previous chapter, Yahuwah told Abraham that he was going there to see for himself other reports of what has been going on amongst these people. We do not know or read of him arriving to this city with the three angels that accompany him. Instead, we read of these two angels who now say that he sent them to destroy the city because of their outcry, the city's outcry. Whether he actually made it there or not is one thing. Another is that they cried out to him. You may be wondering who they are. The short answer, their blood. When Cain killed Havel, his blood, his life, cried out to Yahuwah. The same is true here. The brutality being perpetrated in this city goes understated. However, here we see that not only are the men committing depraved acts, such as the mass rape of other men, but they likely are killing, murdering others, spilling their blood into the city, and Yahuwah hears the cry of the blood, their fallen lives. There is much wicked, evil behavior afoot here. Go figure. Imagine Just imagine how much the cries of blood being spilled these days is ringing in the ears of Yahuwah. If he heard the blood then, think about your own city. Watch the news. Listen to the few reports of murders, of assaults, of car accidents, all type of things that will cause blood to be spilled. And think of how much that blood is calling out to the source of where it comes from. How much it's calling out to Yahuwah. All right, verse 14. And Lot went out and spoke unto his sons-in-law, which married his daughters, and said, Up, get you out of this place, for Yahuwah will destroy this city. But he seemed as one that mocked unto his sons-in-law. Here you see Lot doing his due diligence to persuade his sons-in-law to get up to leave. He has prompted them in the midst of a violent crowd consisting of all the people of the city that were outside their walls. In the midst of that, they thought that Lot was joking. Even during these times so long ago, doubt is being used to downplay a situation. Perhaps more important, this verse places a spotlight on Lot's relationship with his family, particularly his brothers-in-law. In such an incredible situation, we see here that Lot did not have a very good relationship with his sons-in-law. Their relationship was so bad that even during this event, this spectacle, this life or death situation, they did not trust him enough, did not honor him enough, they did not give him enough respect to heed his words, say even their own lives. That also says they did not have any of the same regards for his sincerity towards his own daughters, their wives, or shall I say their women. Irregardless as to their relationship to Lot, it seems absurd that they would not take him serious, considering that this also involved his daughters. Then again, Lot does not give much of a reason to think he really values any of them anyway. Just moments ago, he was bargaining for the safety of the two angels, using his daughters' bodies, honor, virginity, as bargaining chips. So perhaps they had experiences that gave them pause when it concerned Lot's believability, especially where it concerned his daughters. To go farther, perhaps he betrothed them off as quickly as he could with these two men, giving his seeming lack of concern for them. As it happens, while they were mentioned as his sons-in-law, he told the crowd that his daughters had not yet known a man. So either he lied to them, or they had not yet consummated their relationships for traditions which they may have practiced. Whether or not they believed him, they somehow felt that even with the entire city trying to beat down the doors and walls, Lot, their father-in-law, the father of their women, was making light of this situation and was neither serious nor worthy to be taken serious and or believed in his estimation of the seriousness of their situation. Is your family taking you serious? Does your in-laws regard you in esteem or in contempt? Who are they for? Yahuwah or the world? Now, just one final thought before we wrap this up. I want to take you back, way back in the time. not that far back, but anyway, I want to go back to the early part of Genesis, where I showed you how the first man, Adam, how his name meant that he was red, that his name emphasized his color, his skin color, and also that before he was made, he was created to have the appearance, have the morality, the honor, the way of behaving as his maker, as his creator, Yahuwah, which would imply that Yahuwah too is of this red, this earth tone, this reddish, brownish skin color. And with that, I just want to add, after that, we have also in the early part of Genesis, Bere'Shiyth, that the sons of Elohim came down and took women, and they reproduced, and they spun off different type of men that eventually became giants. We haven't read about that yet, but we'll get to it. Nonetheless, in my estimation, it is these sons of Elohim that brought in, let's say, different DNA, different from Yahuwah. Yahuwah obviously was of an earth tone red, a brownish, reddish skin color, like Native Americans. I don't know if my skin color have a reddish hue to it, man. I'm not sure about that. However, it does retain the brown. Native Americans, Indians from India, they have this brownish red skin color. I would say they look in appearance more like Yahuwah than most other people. Now, that being said, when the sons of Elohim came down, they injected their DNA into the mix. And it's my belief that is where these other skin tones come from, these other hues. These pale hues, these almond hues, these yellowish hues, the different eyes and nose and cheeks, all these different facial structures. I believe this is where all these different looks among man come from these sons of Elohim, who inserted their DNA and altered what Yahuwah had made, what he had created. That being said, at this time in chapter 19, it is my belief that we are still looking at a majority of dark complexion, reddish, brown, earth tone, skin colored people. And it is probably here in the circle of Yardan where we have this happening, with a majority of these people being of this earth tone skin. Or just maybe it got so bad amongst the offspring of these sons of Elohim. Maybe they had found the circle of Yardan, and maybe they made a city there. Maybe they made a haven for people like themselves, and they were doing all these things, upsetting Yahuwah. So just a little bit of perspective to give you a couple of different possibilities of what was going on there and who was actually doing it. That being said, this is Soya, and I am no teacher, I am no pastor, preacher. I am merely sharing with you that which I have learned and hoping that you get something from it and allow you to grow and form a relationship with the one I speak for. I invite you back next time. Till then, enjoy this good day.